Welcome everyone to our spring 2025 term. Today we're working with the legs and the feet. And today in terms of props, I'm hoping that you can find, if you don't have yoga blocks, if you do have yoga blocks, 2 of these kind of bricks would be great. If you don't, you can use books that are as big as you can find, like an encyclopedia type book, if you have any of those kicking around or something like that. You could use a low stool. I know one of you has that folding one from Canadian Tire. That could be good for this. And then a belt or a scarf. So if you have those available, I will be showing things with that today for legs and feet. So I'll just give you a minute to set that up. And for those of you who are ready, we're just gonna start by feeling our feet, bending our knees, tracking over the second toes, looking at our feet. And then inhale, pulling up from the feet up towards the hips, up through the knees. If you can, pull up on the thighs and maybe straighten the knees completely and just see, is there one side that feels a little bit different than the other? Maybe one side I can't pull up. Maybe bringing that side back and then all of a sudden, oh, I can pull up on it. So just notice that. I'm going to do my right side back a bit to give it space to do that. Exhale, bend. So most of us have one leg a little longer than the other, and it can really help to make that modification with the longer leg. So bending the knees, looking at the feet, inhale, pulling up and straightening the knees, pulling up on the thighs. And again, if you can't straighten one leg, just move it back a little bit and see if that helps. Exhale, bend the knees. This is tracking of the knees. That's what physios call it, bending over the second toes, and then inhale up and maybe lifting the toes up. Now that helps us create an arch, if you can do that. And exhale, bend. And inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. When you straighten this time, maybe bring your arms up to your place and on your shoulders. The height depends on what's going on with their shoulders. You don't have to go all the way. Exhale, bend through the center. Hands through the center, maybe through namaste position. Inhale, radiate out like the sun, pull up. Fully up on those knees if you can. Exhale through the center like water streaming down from the front, the sides, the back, all the way down the legs to the feet. Inhale, radiating out like the radiant sun out of the heart center. And exhale. Adding some sound, inhale. 3 ohms, or you can just do a humming sound if you prefer. Oh. Bring your legs together. Inhale, coming up onto your toes. So this is a dynamic way of warming up the calves and strengthening the calves. And exhale, hands coming down, and try to bring your heels down at the moment your hands come to your sides. So try to have that mindful attention. Inhale, radiating out, arms coming to your place. So they could go just to shoulder height, for example, or lower. Can all the way up. Palms together if that works for you. Coming way up. Notice differences side to side. Exhale, maybe you feel like one foot is taking more of the weight. Those small imbalances in the legs, usually coming from the hips. Inhale, coming up. Exhale down, resisting coming down. So this makes this movement more strengthening. We'll stabilize our muscles. Waking up. You can always do it in your own timing. If my timing doesn't work for you, if your breath is shorter today or longer, just do it in your own time. I'm totally fine with that. Let's do one more, your own timing. I'm not going to cue it all to invite that a bit more. And from that position, when you get there, your next time up, can you go towards the left? Now you can stay up on the toes or come down right away if you want to challenge yourself. Stay up on the toes. And then at the end of the exhale, I like to come down so I can get a deeper stretch. And then you can also bend that left knee to take it further. You can drop the lower arm if that feels like a better stretch. You can bend the top elbow if that feels like a better stretch for you. It's going to depend on multiple things in your body. So just check that out for yourself. Which variation is going to work. Inhale up. You can come up into the toes or not. So this is just to challenge our core. And you can feel it. I can feel my feet really working. As I do that, I come down at the end. I bend that knee. I'm coming towards that right knee. And I'm going to bend everything else as well. So I like to do those bending movements, especially as I warm up. Inhale, center, exhale, side. Just keep this going your own timing. You've all studied with me before and familiar with these movements. Getting into the side body, including the outside of the hip. Always going into the hips a little bit when we're working with the legs and feet. Just finishing your last round. Inhale, center. Exhale, arms coming down. We're going to stay in the side bend for a minute. I've got a chair because we're going to be using a chair later, but for now, whatever wall you have available, bringing your left hand to the wall. And you can cross whatever foot you like, so it depends on the person. I like to cross the same side that I'm on over top. So to the left, I bring my left foot in front, but you could do it the opposite way, stretching to the side as you exhale. Inhale, coming out, and I'm going to dip a little bit the opposite direction just to move those hips side to side a bit. Exhale, side, stretch, stretching the right side. Inhale, coming out, and I'm bringing my hips towards the wall, and I'm actually using my arm a little bit of arm strength. I've just added this piece to the warm up just because it's a bit cold, and I just want to make sure you're really warm before we go into the deep stretch. It's a pretty intense stretch. It's really targeting the QL and the IT band of the leg. So quadratus lumborum, that's more of the hip and the lower back. And then we get into the IT band at the side of the leg. For a lot of us, that is tight and sometimes weak as well, which is kind of a strange combination. Ask your physio about that. When you're ready, staying in the position if you can, or just keep it going. Bring one hand down if you want. Closer. And try to align those shoulders. So tendency to go forward. The more you can align the shoulders, deeper the stretch. And when you're ready coming out, we're not going to stay too long because we're still warming up. We're going to go to the other side. I'm going to go back and forth. So I've got my right hand, I'm mirroring right hand on the wall, right foot over left. Inhale, arm up, and then exhale to the side. My elbow slightly bent, that right hand, right arm, that is, sticking the hip out, that left side. And then inhale, coming up, and I'm gonna actually bring my weight into that right arm and bring my hip the other direction. So this is getting into the hips as well as the outsides of the legs. You will feel it wherever you're tight. That's kind of the beauty of yoga. It can be non-specific that way. The movement will target multiple things and you'll feel it wherever your tight spot is. Now, and exhale. Inhale coming out. Exhale going into it. We're going to go 4 to 6 times. Repeat. When we repeat, I know from anatomy, physiology, we're working a bit more with the nerves. When you're ready, staying, so you might want to just keep that going, that nerve flossing, or you can stay, and this gets a bit more into the muscles, and you stay into the fascia, the connective tissue. And I really find it just depends what's going on, whether you want to stay or not. You might not want to, and in that case, take a rest or keep repeating. So be very mindful. You can also, just take a break at any time and then go back into it. Use the breath. Sticking that left hip out. Stretching the left side. And when you're ready, coming out. I know some of you in the room today, virtual room, that's going to be very helpful for what goes on in your lower backs. So I'm thinking of all the multiple things going on for you. Let's tie that together now with a forward bend. So we're going to start, I'm going to use a chair. You're welcome to not use the chair. I'm just going to demo with a chair to begin. So inhale, arms coming up. And exhale, forward bend. I'm just bringing my hands to the chair. I can bend my knees as well. And I'm just actually going to bring my arms forward rather than sides. Inhale up. And I'm just going to go back and forth between these positions, just warming up the back. So your legs could be straight or they could be a little bit bent. Inhale, coming up. The arms in front makes it harder for the lower back. You're welcome to bring the arms to the sides if this is too much. You can also do no arms. You can just do this. Inhale up. And exhale forward. I'll just show this modification. So you can always make it easier or make it harder. So pick your medicine.
Just mindful that your body's still warming up, so you want to take it easy. You could have one foot behind the other. We're going to stay now, so I'm going to bring my right foot slightly behind. That's my longer leg. You could do the same if you want it. Just staying in this half forward bend, Ardha Uttanasana. Just feeling the backs of those legs and bending if you want as you exhale, especially if you have a hamstring injury in the insertion area. I know one of you has that. I've had that one myself many times. It's not very fun. Inhale, straightening the legs and maybe even looking up. That gets into the upper back. And then exhale, bending the knees. Just working that way to just warm up the 3 hamstrings without straining them. And ready, coming up, I'm going to come up without the arms. You're welcome to use the arms if you'd like. And exhale, release, find your samastiti. And hopefully you already feel a little bit taller. So it's just very interesting that through those 4 bends, we actually do decompress our spines and we do get a bit taller. So you might feel a bit more like, oh, I'm taller. And it's like, wow, I just did a few 4 bends. That was about a 15-minute practice. So not very much, and you're already there. So that could be your morning practice, just that. Just noticing that in your body. Just noticing how you feel, maybe bending your knees, grounding through the feet. Okay, so we're going to go into the feet a little bit more again. So I had a request to stretch the front of the foot, and this will also go into the shin, which I often forget to do in my classes. So thanks for that cue for one of you during our intake. You're going to have take your left leg and you're going to cross it over your right leg. And you could have a wall in front of you or the back of a chair if you need for balance, okay? So feel free to do that after I show you what we're doing. So you're gonna exhale, you're gonna bend the knees. And this is the beginning of eagle pose, Garudasana, which we don't usually do, but I'll add those arms in a minute. It's a classical pose. You stay in it, but we're going to do it dynamically. Exhale, bend. And inhale, straighten. Now, if you want, it's opposite arm in front. So right arm in front and left underneath. And you can just do this if your shoulders are tight like mine. You might not want to do the full bind. So I think of it as holding a bouquet of flowers. Exhale. And then inhale, you can actually bring your arms up and get a nice shoulder stretch. Exhale, so can be challenging balance-wise. That balancing foot, that right foot. Inhale up and exhale down. And this helps if you have low arches. You don't have very good arches. This actually helps work your arches. According to my teacher in India anyway, he shows these kinds of things for working on arches. So we're going to release that. It's pretty intense. Just give it a minute. You might want to shake your foot out, feet out. Try the other side. So balancing on that left foot, crossing the other foot over, the right, and tucking the toes under. So you're pointing the foot, creating that arch, and that might be your pose. And then you cross the opposite arm on top as the leg. So this is the classical eagle pose, Garudasana, is this. I don't do that because it hurts my shoulders, but you're welcome. Exhale, bend the knees and feel that arch stretching that right foot and maybe into the shin. And then inhale, straighten and lift your leg. You might get a cramp. I feel like my foot might start to cramp. So it's one of those poses you can get cramps in. So just take a break if you are getting that cramp. Definitely a balance pose. The hips are working here quite hard and the feet. And I'm gonna come out. So that's a tough one for balance and also strength. Let's take a minute, bend your knees, shake your feet out, your legs out. Okay. All right, let's stretch one leg at a time now. So we're gonna bring, come about 3/4 of the way back on your mat and bring your left foot forward. You're gonna have to adjust if you're using a chair to where your chair is. You could use blocks instead or no prop at all. Okay, I'm just showing with the chair today because some of you have been off yoga for a while. So just take it a little easy. Inhale, arms coming straight up or to your sides. And exhale, straighten forward if you can with straight legs. Now you could bring your arms to the back of the chair like this or to the seat of the chair like this. And then inhale, arms moving first in line with your ears if you can. Palms facing forward. Exhale, starting position. Feel your feet. Now that back foot, is it collapsing into the arch? Try to feel the little toe side moving out. Putting the weight on the little toe side. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, forward bend. You're welcome to bend the knee as well. If this is hurting your hamstring in any way, bend that knee just even a little bit or keep it straight. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, starting position. Do this 4 more times on your own timing. You're welcome to add on by interlocking the fingers and stretch out that way. This is more intense. Again, you can go to the back of the chair if you're working on stretching your spine. For those of you with a bit of stenosis or degenerative disc disease, that can be a useful modification. Get a bit more traction through the spine. Front leg can bend or keep straight. And you finished your 6, just stay in the position, the forward bend, half forward bend, Parshva Uttanasana. On your 6th one, just stay in the position. You might already be there. When you're staying, you can inhale, arch up, and exhale, forward bend. It's called Sthiti. Helps lengthen the spine. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. And when you get towards the end of it, you might head to the floor to go deeper still. And you're welcome to go to the big toe side of that left foot and feel the inner hamstring and the groin working. Inhale, arching up. Exhale, forward bend. And then go to the little toe side and maybe make your back foot parallel to your front. And you're probably going to feel the right hip, QL, and maybe the other hamstring, the outer hamstring. Welcome to have blocks. You're welcome to just be at the chair doing this, just micro movements. When you're ready, come back to the center. Gradually come up, turn that back foot out slightly, just come out without the weight of the arms. For that deep stretch. And step back if you can, otherwise just come back to this position in any way that you can. And notice the difference between sides, having really stretched that left leg, just notice the difference between sides. So I get this sensation of all this energy or prana moving through that left leg, and the right leg's kind of like, it's not really doing anything. So let's wake up that right side, bring the right foot forward, just find your position for the chair. Inhale, arms coming up. And exhale, forward bend. Again, you can reach towards the back of the chair or the seat of the chair. You can bend that front knee, the back foot turned out to comfort for your calf and your back. Inhale, coming up if you can, arms in line with the ears. Exhale, starting position. Do this 5 more times on your own. You will know this pose. Try to draw that belly in as you exhale from the pelvic floor up to the belly button. The breath focus of today's class is exhale. Long exhale. When you've finished your 6, stay in the position. Pause between inhale and exhale. It's a moment of nothing. Which is training us to let go of the mind. It's many activities. And at the end of your 6, you might already be there. Just staying. You like adding that stitty, inhale, lifting the chest, exhale, forward bend. This half version can be very helpful for working the hamstrings. When you come forward, you might want to bend the knee if the knee is bothering you. And then straighten, so that can be very helpful for knee problems, just that micro movement of the knee. Strengthening those tendons around the kneecap, the patella tendon, for example. And when you're ready, maybe staying in the position, maybe coming down to the floor, the hands on the floor, hands on blocks. Considering coming to the big toe side, stretch that inner hamstring into the groin. Maybe turning the foot out, the back foot. You might be surprised how tight it is in there. Whenever I have knee or hamstring issues or hip issues, I always work with these three aspects of the hamstrings. Just to create space around inner injuries. Sometimes we'll really get grippy in this groin area to protect our body when we're injured. When you're ready, coming towards the other side, you might adjust that back foot even to parallel so that you can get more to the little toe side. Careful, you're welcome to use your chair or blocks for support. Big one for scoliosis, for those of you who have that tightness on your left side. You're ready, coming back to the center. Just stay here. Then gradually coming up. And stepping back if you can. Finding your samastiti. And just notice, hopefully, how both legs now are very awake. Again, you can step one foot back if you find it hard to pull up on one side due to discrepancy between leg lengths. If it's comfortable, lifting those toes and feeling the arches of the feet. And exhale, release. Inhale, lift up the toes, all of them if you can. Feel the ball of the foot, feel the arch of the foot strengthening. Exhale, release. This is something we often forget to do, but it's really helpful for strengthening our arches. Inhale, lifting up. It also just helps ground the nervous system because it gets us into our feet, literally, in the somatic nervous system. Exhale, release. Our hands and our feet have a big amount of nerves, large amount of nerves. The brain pays a lot of attention to them. Just keep doing this as I tell you this. And if you focus your attention on your feet or your hands, it literally gets you away from paying attention to other parts of what's going on, including negative thoughts or thoughts that are causing you imbalance. Just a really good way of getting out of your head. Focus on those feet. All right, when you're ready, release. We're going to keep going with the feet a little bit. We're going to sit on that chair, and we haven't done this. I don't think we did this last term. So I'm going to take that chair and we're going to sit on it. You might have a couch that you sit on or something else, and I don't need to see you for this one. So if you need to go somewhere else, totally fine. You can just listen to me. You can take that left foot. You might sit on a prop, make this a little easier, depending on the length of your legs. You could have something under one of your feet, like a block. If you have, if you're more petite, this might feel comfortable to have something underneath. Just gonna make sure that the camera is showing me okay here. You can do that. All right. So bringing your left leg up And then you're just gonna put your fingers between your toes. So my index finger goes between my big toe and etc. And it's gonna be quite uncomfortable. If you have toe stretchers, plugging one of my first Iyengar teacher from 2001, I think it was, Joya Irwin. She makes Joya toes. You can get online. They're really good for yoga. And just stretching those toes. This is great for bunions. We don't talk about this much, but a lot of us as we age, we start getting bunions. So those imbalances in our spines start showing up more in our feet. If you've been wearing tight shoes, it also shows up. And then just point your toes and then flex. Hopefully this position is working for your knee. Point your toe and then flexed. Something you can do while you're watching Netflix at night. Just give your feet a stretch if you want. You can add a hip stretch by going forward, holding the back of the chair with the other hand if you want. That's an add-on. If you're feeling a bit bored, you do that. Getting into that arch and into the shin by adding the point there too. Okay, switching sides. That's one I haven't taught in a while. That's from Iyengar Yoga. They teach this often, stretching the feet, and I've added the pointing and flexing. So bringing index finger in first between the big toe and the second toe, and then you just go from there and you stick your fingers in. It might be quite painful. I apologize if it is. Do your best. Notice which toes are tight. This is something I've been thinking about in my own practice more. It's just stretching those toes. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. And you might notice if you do have a bunion, the side where you have the bunion, it's going to be tighter. And it might not be where the bunion is. It might be in other toes. So just notice that. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Surprisingly hard, right? And if you want to add on, if you're a bit bored, you could add a hip stretch. Got my right arm behind. And inhale, arch the spine, and then exhale, release. Actually, I think one of you who has stenosis, this is also going to be a good stretch for you. Ready, coming up. We're just going to again stretch the front of the leg and the foot and crossing over. It's been a while since I've done this. Okay, now I remember. So crossing the left leg over, if you can, you bring it behind. This is going into the classical pose of Garudasana. You bring it behind. This might not feel good for your knee, so just be careful. If it doesn't, just cross your legs. Okay, so if this doesn't work, just cross your legs and you can take it as a hip stretch. If you can do it, I know one of you who asked for this will be able to do this. You bring your right foot a bit to the side. I've taught this one in a while. You loop your left foot behind the calf, and then you try to come back to the center. If that's straining any of the ligaments or tendons around your knee, do not do that. And then when you're ready, can you come forward a bit, or if you like, adding the arms, opposite arm underneath the leg. And inhale, arms up, exhale, release. So that's going into Garudasana. This is pretty much the classical position that you do standing. Or you're just crossing your legs, just come forward like this. And that becomes a hip stretch. Okay, we're gonna go to the other side. So this other side is quite tough for me. Let's see if I'll be able to do it. There we go. Yeah, this one's much harder for me. So I'm not gonna be able to demo this one very well. I will do my best. Crossing opposite arm under on top. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release. If you can't get that foot behind, like I can't on this side, you might decide instead just to do a hip stretch. Ready, coming out. Let's just do a forward bend in the chair, stretching those legs long. Your legs can be bent or straight, whatever feels good for you. You can hold the back of the chair if you like. I'm going to do with my legs bent. It's very good for stenosis or degenerative disc disease. Basically, most of us as we age have DDD, degenerative disc disease. Just means your back's getting compressed as you age, and this is one of the poses you can do throughout the day just to release the back. Almost everyone could benefit from that when you're ready coming out, and it's different than doing it standing. Just the angle of it sitting gets into that lower back in a different way. When you're ready coming up. So I'm going to get into the calves now, which is the reason I asked you to get these blocks. So we're going to put the blocks against the wall and face them lengthwise. And if you have a book that can work, a telephone book, an old telephone book or old encyclopedia would be helpful. So let's see if this works for this. Okay, you might need to have them a little bit away from the wall. Yeah, that's going to work better. Okay, so you're going to come up onto your left leg and come onto the block. And then you're just going to come down. So this is for the knee, for the ankle. Just come up and then down. And you can do this holding onto the wall or not. Inhale up, exhale down. And you can add the arms if you're doing it freestyle, much harder. And this is about balance, and we're working the tendons around the knee, we're working the ankle, we're working the hips, working the whole leg. So this is new. I recently had a dog knee injury. A dog came flying into me really hard. And I had to learn a little bit more about the tendons around my knees. So this is something I created based on a physio exercise. You can do this on a low stool, one of those bendy stools you get from Canadian Tire. You can have your foot up on something like that as well. Switching sides. You can be holding the wall and just go up and down. That's much easier. Or adding the arms if you want more challenge. I'm showing my easy side now. The other side's my injured side, so sides is feeling much easier for me. You're probably having that same experience in your body. One side feels a lot easier. Really targeting the knees, the ankles, and the hips, all of that. Strengthening all of those pieces. So I just thought this is a really nice one to bring into the class. And then we will stretch the calves as I promised. Doing that 6 to 8 times. And hold at the top a bit if you like. And just finishing up. Right, so for stretching the calves, we're going to use these blocks again, or a book. And you're just going to put your left foot on top, just the ball of the foot, and just bring your back foot slightly back. And then bend your front knee, and then straighten. Bend your front knee, straighten. I'm starting you off not too hard. Bend the front knee and straighten. You can feel that in your ankle probably and your calf. Today I'm feeling more in my ankle. And switching sides. We're going to take it up a notch in a minute. Switching sides. Bend your front knee, so it's the front leg I'm targeting. So you feel that in your calf, your ankle, and then straighten your back leg, might be getting a bit of stretch too. It's good for plantar fasciitis to work on the calves. If you don't know that, if you've ever felt that strain in the bottom of your foot, working the calves can be very effective. This kind of position. Exhale, bend. Straighten. All right. Okay, I'm going to show this without the wall, just to make it easier for me to show it to you. You might use a wall, so I'm just going to put my left foot on top of that block and just see if I can stretch it a bit more by just staying in that position. So you can do this at the wall. I'm just going to go a bit deeper into it. I'm going to feel the front calf maybe and the back one. I'm going to switch sides. Just notice you might be feeling just the back half, you might be feeling just the front one. Might be just feeling the ankle. I'm going to switch sides. I think we still have power. Yes, we do. Good. Now bend the back knee. As you exhale, bend the back knee, and then you're going to get into the deeper calf muscle of that back leg. And switch sides. Bending the back knee. Inhale, straighten. Focus is on the back leg now. And the calf, the bottom of the foot. And finishing up. And hopefully you feel like you've really worked your ankles and your calves, having done that. Just notice how you feel. Let's put my camera up a bit. Okay, let's just do a forward bend to tie all that together. Let's do a forward bend. Just arms side and coming forward. Inhale, arms coming up. I'm going to add some chanting to this. The first one, just Om. You can just exhale if you prefer, or you can hum, doing Brahmari. Inhale, coming up. You can bend your knees as you come forward. You can bring your arms to the chair if you prefer. Coming up. Next one, Om Namo. Om halfway, pause, and then Namo. Om Namo. Inhale up. Again, Om Namo. This means I surrender, I let go. Om Namo. Inhale up. Om Namo Namaha. 3 parts. Pause between each part. Om Namo Namaha. Inhale. This helps us build a long exhale. It's called a krama, or exhale in 3 steps. Om Namo Namaha. Stay at the bottom. If you like, inhale Sthiti, lifting up, exhale forward bend, or just stay. You could be at the chair. You could be sitting on the chair, or arms on the back of the chair, or on the seat of the chair. And when you're ready, actually coming up and setting up for lying on your back. So if you've got a chair, just move that to the side. Have your belt ready, and anything else you need. Pretty well. So just lying down. You can gradually lie down with using your core strength if you like. Inhale in the position, and then exhale, just gradually rolling down. Inhale, arms up. If it works for you, maybe straighten your legs. Exhale, arms coming down. Inhale from the chest to the belly. Exhale, pelvic floor all the way up towards the belly button. And the chest falls. Draw the belly in and up. Hold after exhale. 1, 2, inhale.
chest, belly. Exhale, belly to chest. Modify the arms if you need to. The arms could be moving to the sides on the floor with support to your place, or not coming as high or a bolster overhead. Just keep this going. A couple of more breaths. You can do this with bent legs if this hurts your lower back, to have them straight. At the end of your next inhale, just stay here for a moment and exhale, draw that left leg in. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, right leg in. Inhale, straighten. Let's continue this a couple more rounds. This is for the lower back and for the knee. We're going to add the full leg in a minute as the next step. Okay, adding the whole leg now. Exhale, bending the left leg in. Now hold behind the thigh and straighten the leg. Flex the toes towards the nose. Exhale, bend everything in. Inhale, straighten. I know there's a lot of lower back stuff in the room, so I know this will be helpful for your lower backs. Exhale, other side. Now getting into the legs and feet. Exhale, bend in. Inhale, straighten. This is one I do most days, just general maintenance. Exhale, we're going to take it up a notch now. You're going to take your belt and you're going to work on stretching the whole leg. And you can just stay here, or if you like, as you exhale, bend the knee towards this chest. You might feel that in the opposite hip. This is like a supine lunge, and inhale, straighten. And feel the whole back chain of the leg, the hamstrings, the calf. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. You can always do this with bending the other leg if it's too much on the hamstrings or the lower back. And then maybe just staying in the position. Could add on by lifting the head, but be careful. Let's exhale and inhale, release. And moving to the other side. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. It's great for the lower back. Especially if you've got compression on one side or the other. Great for the legs, the feet, the hips. This is one, again, I do, when I'm showing you this series right now, I do it almost every day, just allowing me to do lots of dog walking. And yeah, I do this before I head out dog walking. General maintenance for the legs and the lower back. When you're ready, staying in the position, and you can just stay here and stretch, or if you're ready, exhale. You can bring your head up and inhale, release. Be careful, that's can be hard on the neck. Tuck the chin in and come up. Really strengthens the front of the neck, the throat area, the neck flexors there. And when you're ready, bringing both legs up. And if you like, bringing your hands to a prayer position at your heart and just staying in this semi-inversion for a few breaths. You don't need to be stretching your legs hard. You can if you want. You can keep stretching them by resisting the hands, or you can just kind of rest in the position with the knees soft. Just rest the breath. Alternatively, you could have your legs up the wall. And when you're ready, release that. And we are going to move to legs up the wall. Actually, you can use a belt and a nice prop for this. Could have a bolster underneath your hips, but I'm going to show it without. So just coming to the wall, bringing your hip that's closest to the wall right to the wall. And then you roll up. Now, if this hurts your hamstrings because they're tight, go back until your hamstrings can relax. So we did work the legs a lot, so hopefully the hamstrings are feeling pretty good. But if they're not, move your body back. And then this belt, you could tie your thighs or your ankles, or you could have two belts and tie both. And this allows your body just to relax while staying in this position. You could, if you had a sandbag, you could put it on your feet for extra grounding. For those of you who have sandbags, you could do that. You could have a block or a weighted blanket or a sandbag on your belly for more grounding. Of course, you can have a blanket under your head to ensure that your neck is not in this position with your eyes back. You want there to be your forehead, your nose in line with your heart. So add anything under your head to ensure that your neck just has a neutral curve underneath it. And in this position, this semi-inversion, actually, I guess this is a full inversion, even a simple one. This is Viparita Karani. It is actually considered a full inversion. Just start lengthening that exhale. So you can start with 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2. Exhale. Ujjayi pranayama, constricting the throat. Inhale. 1, 2. Do that a couple of more times. Cover yourself with a blanket if you're getting cold at all. Now you can keep lengthening that exhale. Exhale 5, inhale 3, or exhale 6, inhale 3 or 4. And you can hold after exhale the same length as we're doing the inhale. So for example, inhale 3, exhale 6, hold 3, or inhale 4, exhale 8, hold 4. This is a 1:0:2:1 ratio in the classical ratios of pranayama. If you have any tingling in your legs, your feet, just bend your knees, release, and come back, or just go into Shavasana and continue this breathing. Classically, we do 12 rounds of pranayama. We're going to do just a few more. You can keep lengthening the breath, gradually adding a second to that inhale, and then do twice the length of your inhale on your exhale, and the same length as the inhale. Hold after exhale if you can. If you gasp on your inhale, that means that the hold after exhale was too long, so just make it less long. And when you're ready, just coming out of the pose, bending your knees. Release your belt. Moving away from the wall a bit, and just exhale. Press your feet into the wall and press your lower back into the floor, and you can tuck your tail under slightly. And then inhale, release. And tip your pelvis the opposite direction, creating a curve under your lower back. Exhale, tuck your tail under, press your feet into the wall, tuck your tail under. And inhale, release. So this is nice for the feet, feeling the bottoms of the feet, but also wonderful for the lower back and the hips. And this also is very grounding for the nervous system. If there's any fear, lack of grounding in the system, this can help release that kind of fear from the system somatically. Could put a pillow between the legs or a block to increase the effect. And when you're ready, rolling to one side. Taking your time to transition into your final pose, sitting in any way that's comfortable. I'm going to show Vajrasana, which is, I do this to stretch my thighs quite often, but many people, this would not be very comfortable. You can always add a block in this position under the hips, and that makes it way more comfortable. So actually, I'll show that. You can get a leg stretch while you sit. You can also sit on a chair, of course. It's ending with Om Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Namaskaram. Thank you very much.